Jarada Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jarada Madhava Kunja Bihari Jarada Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Givaradari Yashodarandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodarandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Munatira Vanachari Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Gaur Premanande Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaria Stotra Shata Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinde Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaria Stotra Shata Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaur Premanande All glories assembled devotees All glories assembled devotees All glories, all glories, all glories Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Utamashloke Tirvavati Naistake Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cham Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are chatting a new chapter, 10th canto, 47th chapter, text 1 and 2. So before we go into the chapter, I just wanted to know, yesterday we had Bhagavatam class, Vaishnava Shivananda, we didn't have Bhagavatam class. Okay. So, okay. This chapter is entitled The Song of the Bee. I'm just going to read this summary of this chapter before, so that you can just follow. Okay. This chapter describes how Uddhav, on the order of Lord Sri Krishna, delivered the Lord's message to the gopis and consoled them, and then returned to Mathura. When the young maidens of Vraja saw the lotus-eyed Uddhav, who wore yellow garments and attractive earrings, they were astonished at how much he resembled Krishna. Thinking, "Who is this?" they approached and encircled him. When they realized that Krishna must have sent him, they brought him to a secured place where he could speak to them confidentially. The gopis began to remember the pastimes they had enjoyed with Sri Krishna, and putting aside all ordinary propriety and shyness, they loudly wept. One gopi, while deeply meditating on her association with Krishna, noticed a bumblebee before her. Imagining the bee to the messenger of him, she said, "Just as a bee wanders among the various flowers, Sri Krishna has abounded the young girls of Raja and developed affection for the other women." The gopis continued to speak in this way, contrasting her own possessed ill fortune to her rival of lovers' good fortune. All the while, glorifying the names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord Sri Krishna, she then declared that although Krishna may have abandoned the gopis, they could not possibly stop them remembering him for even for a moment. Uddhava tried to console the damsels of Vraja, who were so anxious to see Krishna once again. Uddhava explained, while ordinary persons must perform many pious deeds to qualify the servants of Lord Krishna, whose simple cowherd girls are so extremely fortunate that Lord has favored you and with the very highest degree of pure devotion for him. Uddhava then related to them the message, Lord's message. Quoting, Lord Uddhava said, I am the soul, quote, I am the supreme soul and supreme shelter of all. By my potencies I create, maintain and destroy the cosmos. I am indeed most dear to you and gopis, but who increase your attraction for me and intensify your remembrance for me, I left you. After all, when a woman's bewildered for is far away, she is fixed her mind upon him constantly. By increasing remembering me, you are sure to regain my association without delay. Unquote. The gopis then Uddhav, the gopis then asked Uddhav, "Is Krishna is happy now that Kamsa is dead and he can enjoy the company of his family members and the women of Mathura? Does he still remember all the pastimes he enjoyed with us, such as Rasa dance? Will Sri Krishna once again appear before us and give us ecstasy, just as the Lord Indra with the rain gives its life back to the forest agreed by summer heat? Although we know that the greatest happiness comes from renunciation, we simply cannot stop hoping to attain Krishna, for many of his lotus feet are still present throughout the land of Raja, rem- reminding us his grateful gaint, generous smile, and gentle talks. By all these, our hearts have been stolen away. Having said this, the gopis loudly chanted Krishna's name, calling out, O Govinda, please come and destroy our suffering. Uddhava then pacified gopis with a statement that dispelled their pains of separation, and they in turn worshipped him as non different from Sri Krishna. Uddhava stayed in the district of Raja for several months, giving a pleasure of residing by reminding them about the Krishnas in various ways. Very satisfied at seeing the extent of the gopis' love for the Lord, he declared, these cowherd girls have perfected their lives by coming to the platform of unalloyed love for Krishna. Indeed, even the Lord Brahma is inferior to them. The goodness of fortune is herself, who always reside in the Krishna's chest, could not get the same mercy as which gopis obtained during the rasa dance. When the Krishna embraced their necks with his mighty arms, what then to speak of other women? Indeed, I could consider myself most fortunate to take birth as even as a bush or a creeper that would sometimes be touched by the dust of the gopis' lotus feet. Finally, Uddhava entered the Nanda Maharaj and then other cowherd men for their permission to go back to Mathura. Nanda presented him with many gifts and prayed to Uddhava for ability to always remember Krishna. Returning to the Mathura, Uddhava offered Balaram, Krishna, and King Grasen a gift sent by Nanda Maharaj and described to them everything he had experienced in Raja. Okay. This is a summary of this chapter. Today we recite the 1 and 2 verse. Sri Sukha Vacha. Just go word to word, and then we can chant together. Tam Vikshaya Krishnanucharanam Vrajastriyam Pralambabhum Navakunjalochanam Pitambaram Pushkaramalini Lasan Mukaravindam Paramista Kundalam. Okay, recite in Brahma Samhita style. Sri Sukha Vacha Tam Vikshaya Krishnanuchiranam Vrajastriya Pralambabahum Navakunjalochanam Pitambaram Pushkaramalim Lasan मुखारविन्दनं परमेष्टकुण्डलम् श्रीशुक उवाच तं वीक्षया कृष्णानुचरणं व्रजस्त्रिया प्रलम्बबाहुं नवकुञ्जलोचनम् पीताम्बरं पुष्करमालिनीलासनम् मुखारविन्दं परमेष्टकुण्डलम् श्रीशुक उवाच तं वीक्षया कृष्णानुचरणं व्रजस्त्रियः प्रलम्बबाहुं नवकुञ्जलोचनम् पीताम्बरं पुष्करमालिनीं लसन् मुखारविन्दं परमेष्टकुण्डलम् श्रीशुक उवाच तं वीक्षया कृष्णानुव्रजस्त्रियः प्रलम्बबाहुं नवकुञ्जलोचनम् पीताम्बरं पुष्कलमालिनीलासम् मुखारविन्दं परिमिष्टकुण्डलम्. Want to try? Visuko vacha tam vikshaya krishnanuvrajastriya pralambabahum navakanjalochanam पीताम्बरं पुष्करमालिन्लसन् मुखारविन्दं परमेष्टकुण्डलम्. Vaishnav Chavananda, you want to try? Srisuka uvacha tam vikshaya krishnanucharanam vrajastriya pralambabahum navakunjalochanam pītāmbara pushkaramalim dasan mukaravindam parameshtrakundalam. Thank you very much. We'll recite word to word meaning. Sri Sukha Vacha. Sri Sukadeva Swami said, Tam him vikshaya, seeing Krishna Anucharanam, the servant of the Lord Krishna, in the bracket Uddhav, Rajastriyam, the woman of Raja, Pralambam, hanging down, Bahum, whose arms, Navam, young, Kanja, like lotus, Lochanam, whose eyes, Pitam, yellow, Ambaram, wearing a garment, Pushkaram, of lotus, Malinim, wearing garlands, Lasat, fulgently glowing, Makam, whose face, Aravindam, lotus-like. Parimista, polished. Kundalam, whose earrings. Suvismatam. Okay, this is the next one. Okay, we'll stop here. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, the young woman of Raja became astonished upon seeing Lord Krishna's servant, who had long arms, whose eyes resembled a newly grown lotus, who wore yellow garment and who wore yellow garment and a lotus garland, and whose lotus face glowed with brightly polished earrings. Who is this handsome man? The gopi asked, where he was come from, and whom does he serve? He is wearing Krishna's clothes and ornaments. Saying this, the gopis eagerly crowded around the Uddhav, whose shelter was the lotus feet of Uttama Shloka, Sri Krishna. Since there is no purport, we just discuss few things from other commentaries. So this whole chapter is describing the intense separation of the gopis. They were always absorbed in the thinking of Krishna. There is not even a moment that they forgot the Krishna. Because their life and their soul and each and every moment they are meant for Krishna. And in reciprocation, Lord Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to taste the ecstasy, what the gopis felt. We see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a strict sannyasi. He never encouraged anyone, or he himself never spoke intense separations with the gopis, especially Srimati Radharani. He never spoke in the audience. Because in the audience, in general people, we should understand there are different kinds of categories. Even here we see Sukadeva Goswami also, he didn't spoke this pastime in the beginning. One may ask, we are saying that this is the highest, the gopis are highest of the devotees, among the gopis, Radharani is the highest. Why Sukadeva Goswami didn't spoke on the first day itself? Because there are various people in that audience. There are karmis, yogis, jnanis, and other kind of people. If you directly go into the pastime of Lord Krishna, then it seems to be mundane. Like you cannot discuss in the audience, in general audience, a private discussion going on between husband and wife. It's not fair, right? You cannot do that. Until you know his opulence, until you know his power. So, Sukadeva Goswami is systematically taking to us Bhagavatam from the first canto to the 10th canto. So first you should understand who is Krishna is, who God is, what is his potency, what is his opulence, what is his Shakti, what is his energy. Then you will be able to appreciate these pastimes. Otherwise, it seems to be mundane. Okay, oh, they are all girlfriends of Lord Krishna. He sends a letter. In a mundane world, we see that people writing a love letters. Nowadays, it's an email or a WhatsApp, whatever. But In those days, it is like letters. But this discussion, if you are discussed in the first phase itself, then it seems to be a, people will not take seriously. Like once Srila Prabhupada was in India, especially I remember, if I'm not wrong, is in Odisha. So Srila Prabhupada was asked by a film director. He came to the director, like director came to Prabhupada and asked, Prabhupada, I want to make a film on Lord Krishna's pastimes, especially Ras Leela, separation of the gopis with the Radharani. I want to make those pastimes and make a film on that. And Prabhupada told that film director, first first canto, not 10th canto. First canto you should. First you try to make how cosmic manifestation has formed, how this big universe are formed. Then you can then about think about the making the movie of Krishna's pastimes, Ras Leela, so etc etc. First canto. If you jump directly to 10th canto, direct to the Ras Leela, you are a rascal. Don't jump onto the Ras Leela directly. You will be called a rascal. Srila Prabhupada chastised that film director. Don't jump to the intimate pastimes. You can't do that to any person. Like if you take, first you should understand Lord's potency, Lord's energy, then you can able to appreciate what is he doing. So here we see these intimate pastimes are described in the 10th canto. We should understand this context. Uddhava is a so pure devotee and is a friend of the Lord. He was selected as a messenger and delivered to the gopis. So we see that after hearing this pastime, we should understand that how Uddhava was so humbled. He was thinking one sense that like I was remembering all my life Krishna, and I was maybe like he was having some kind of question who's there is pure devotee, like I'm being friend of Lord Krishna and I'm being worshipping all my life. Then he was sent to the Vrindavan. See what is the devotion for Krishna. To understand, if you want to understand a person's opulence, you should visit his villa or palace. First, if you visit his palace, what you going to expose you for yourself? You know, when you, if you got some invitation from a billionaire or a millionaire, first you see the invitation. The invitation card itself is so attractive, right? Nice design, nice business card. When you go to his palace, first you expose to his, you know, building, outside of the building, the nice architecture, nice gates, nice park inside. When you go inside, there's a nice fountain, nice paintings on the wall. You cannot go directly to his bedroom. First, you get to exposed to his opulence, the building, the cars which he has, the servants which he maintains. Then the person who's the man, who is in charge or who is the owner of that building, he comes out. Then you can go ahead and talk to him and have conversation. Then you got to, if you keep going to that person, then he will become your friend. Then he will take you to the, take inside the chamber and he will show all these opulence. From the day one, you cannot understand, the day one, if you, as soon as you enter his palace, he will not show his bank balance, right? First, you got to expose his opulence, what kind of dress he's wearing, what kind of servants he has, what kind of paintings or what kind of design he has in his room, what kind of architecture the building. So, first of all, we should understand the opulence of the Lord means what is his material nature, how the creation is take place, and how is he maintaining, and how he is destroying, and not only this universe, there are billions of universes. How is he maintaining? How, what is his opulence? then you can able to appreciate these pastimes. So Uddhava, he became so humbled, and he want to become just a creeper outside of Vrindavan. Imagine, like after understanding somebody's uh, opulence, somebody's energy, then naturally you become humble. Similarly, Uddhava, he became so humble that he is praying that I want to become a creeper or a grass in a Vrindavan, not in Vrindavan, outside of Vrindavan, so that when gopis go and come outside of Vrindavan, at least I'll have a dust on my head. So he was so humble, that humbly praying, because he wants to change his form also. He wants to give up his human form and he become a creeper, because that is intense devotion after seeing the gopis separation from Krishna. So we can understand how Uddhava must be, in that situation. He's praying like, next life I should become a grass or a creeper in the outside of Vrindavan. So we should understand also that because Uddhava understood the energy of the Lord, and he served Lord Krishna as a servant, and he was always remembering Krishna. So humility comes when we understand his opulence. Just we say that, oh, okay, Prabhu, I am your humble servant. I am your humble servant. I am your humble servant. It you may say externally, but internally the transformation happens when you really understand the opulence and energy of Krishna. When you understand the opulence and energy and creation of Krishna, then naturally you appreciate devotees who are serving them, who are intense separation. Then it comes really from within our heart, I'm your humble servant. Otherwise, it comes from our mouth just as a saying, you just say for a formality, I'm your humble servant. But when you understand actually what is mean by humble servant, what is mean by opulence of the Lord, and who is the Lord, and who are dear devotees of the Lord. See, Uddhava is not an ordinary person. One should not mistake that, okay, he must have took birth in a pious family, or from his birth, they had Krishna consciousness family. That's why he understood who Krishna is, and that's why he became a devotee. No, he's a great scholar. He's a student of Brihaspati. Brihaspati is none other than uh, spiritual master of the demigods, right? So, a person who is in charge of the demigods, or spiritual master of the demigod, his student is Uddhava. And he's not a mundane person that memorizes uh, all the all the Vedas and Upanishads. And no, he was a pure devotee too, and he want to become a humble grass in outside Bruja. So we should understand that we should never underestimate a person, a devotee, in an ordinary way. We may think that, okay, he's an ordinary person, or maybe we may think that we may assume that, okay, what difference it if I do Vaishnava, if I do offense to him, but it has a tremendous impact on our sadhana. Once Srila Prabhupada said, if you know who is sitting beside you, that person, you will faint. If you understand who is really that person is, you should understand who you are sitting beside you. Then you should understand, if you really come to know who was in his past life, you will really faint. So, Srila Prabhupada said that's why we should, again, here we see that in the nectar of instruction, there are discrimination of devotees like Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Kanishtadhikari. These three categories also one should not disrespect. If it is a person is a Kanishtadhikari, we should also respect. And if it is a Madhyamadhikari, we should offer obeisances. If it is Uttamadhikari, we should serve him. And these are all the rules are there. That's why it's called nectar of instructions. Sri Rupa Goswami elaborates in that Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Kanishtadhikari. So here we see that Uddhava also a great devotee, and after hearing and after seeing and experiencing the intense love for Krishna, and he wants to become humble grass, and he looks exactly like Krishna. But here Gopis did not misunderstood him. He sees that that he has the same form as Krishna, like he wore yellow garments, he wore the earrings, he had long arms, lotus eye, everything is the same. But he is not a Krishna. Because Gopi is also not in a sentimental, foolish ladies. Whoever sees, they see, oh Krishna, the falling and the hugging. No, they are though they are in ecstasy, though they are in intense separation, though they are highest degree of separation, but still they can able to make a discrimination who is Krishna. So sometimes we see in India, like in anywhere, like we see, if you get in ecstasy, you forget around you. You dance. Sometimes it happens. Kirtan. If you're in, you think you're in ecstasy, you kick somebody. You when you're circling while doing kirtan or while doing some service, you don't really pay attention to who is around you. You think this is ecstasy. This is okay. If I kick somebody in the kirtan, if I do some damage to somebody in the kirtan, or doing some service, no, that is not okay, because this ecstasy is a different level. Even in the ecstasy, the gopis, one of the gopis said that he is wearing the same yellow color garment. He has a lotus eye and long arms and lotus flower garland, but he is not still Krishna. One time, when Srila Prabhupada was in, I'm not sure which state he was, one of the temple. So one of the person, devotees, disciples of Srila Prabhupada came to Prabhupada and asked, Prabhupada, there is somebody in the temple hall. He was saying that I am Krishna, I am God. He's chanting his own names, and he was in ecstasy. He seems to be in ecstasy. He's making show of things. But we couldn't. At that time there were disciples were new. One person seems to be showing the ecstasy forms. He's jumping and dancing. He's not paying attention to his clothes, and their clothes were going. He was in jumping, and he seems to be ecstasy in one sense. And the devotees don't know what to do with him. Should we stop him, or should we no, respect him? If somebody, imagine somebody is here, dancing Krishna, Radha. You don't know what to do really with that person. And Prabhupada told them, take a bucket of hot water, put him on. If he's really in ecstasy, he'll be not changing his mode. If he's if he's making show off, then he will really comes to the consciousness. I mean, he will stop doing all those ecstasy, showing all those ecstasy symptoms. If I put a hot bucket of water, if he is really in bodily consciousness, he immediately stop doing all these activities. If it is artificially performing, immediately it can be revealed. You cannot stay, Prabhupada said, you cannot stay artificially practice Krishna consciousness. Artificially, show ecstasy form. It won't last for long, because you need to practice intensely. Otherwise, artificial things, it remains for a few days, few months, few weeks, few years. After that, real form comes out. Sachinandan Maharaj often says, artificially, if you impose something which you are not, the real person within you will take a revenge upon you, and he will come out in the form of anger, in the form of lust, in the form of any other, if you're artificially performing something, it will not last long. You should understand. Of course, in the beginning, we try to be enthusiastic, and that enthusiasm will go forward provided chant 16 rounds, read Srimad Bhagavatam, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and discuss with the devotees, then it will have a real impact. Because artificially you cannot be there. Uddhava is not here artificially saying, he mean it. He meant that I want to become a grass. I want to become humble by seeing this ecstasy form, ecstasy separation. So, and Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they're all elaborating this same pastime in a different way. They have been described previously. It is says that the lotus garland have been given by Krishna to Uddhava when he had departed from Vraja, because his friends of Vraja had dressed and formed similar to Krishna in Vraja. They interfere. He was also a devotee and follower of Krishna. It says that when you follow somebody, when you try to imitate somebody, eventually you become the same person. Just like an example, like caterpillar, everybody knows caterpillar. It's, like it is keep on meditating in upon the butterfly. One day it transform into butterfly. Like when a caterpillar sometimes it is like it's on the tree and it covers itself. In a circle of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, you must have all known. So caterpillar is just like a it's not an again it caterpillar transformed into a butterfly, and butterfly will not again transform into a caterpillar. It's like a irreversible transformation. So devotees should also be irreversible transformation. Okay, first you were caterpillar, then slowly practicing Krishna consciousness, you become a colorful, wonderful butterfly, and you fly. Because the caterpillar is always meditating, how color, how beautiful color it has, and a long feather, and flying from one flower to another flower. It was this meditation, of this intense meditation, it became a butterfly. Similarly, when you follow the person here, like Uddhava was exactly resembling Lord Krishna, but he is not Lord Krishna. But he is a friend of Krishna, because that's says that he wore the exactly same garments, same clothes, and same garland, and looks like Krishna, and the same earrings, same complexion. Because when you associate with the person, you get the same qualities. Just like when you associate with your drunkard, you will become a drunkard. When you associate with a businessman, you will become a businessman. When you associate with a musician, you will become a musician. That's how it is. Like if Chanika Pandit says, "You tell me your friend's character, I'll tell you your character." Chanika Pandit says, "You tell me your friend's character, whose their friends are, I'll tell you your character." So it means that, like, if you are who is associating you constantly, whom you are associating with you, you will acquire, you will adopt his qualities. So Krishna best friend is Uddhava, so he was having the same kind of dress and same kind of garland, and he has same kind of qualities, but in a servant mode, not as a becoming one with the God, one with the Supreme Lord. If a mundane person hear these pastimes, like without hearing the first canto, second canto, creation, energy, avatars, if a person hears these pastimes, he may seems like, okay, this is a mundane pastime. I will also become Krishna. I can able to enjoy many girlfriends. I can have many girlfriends. I can enjoy with them, because the constitution position of this soul in the mundane material world is to always enjoy. That's already inbuilt in the jivas, in all the souls, because he wants to enjoy. But what is he doing in a wrong way? You can enjoy, provided when you serve Krishna, you automatically enjoy his opulence. For example, a billionaire son, he got to expose all kind of facilities. He don't have to work separately to enjoy his father's opulence, right? Similarly, like devotees of Krishna have all kinds of facilities. Just like one example we can give is the prasadam. Whatever was offered to Lord Krishna, it comes as it is and with a more nectarian in it. And we taste the same thing. It's not that you give chapan bhog, 25, 30 items to the Lord Krishna, he will finish 20 items, he will give you 3 items, which are some rice, dry item. Okay, you take this. No, but he got the same thing. One time, um, a person like a devotee, not a devotee, I mean, in beginning he was a devotee, like a Bibi Govind Maharaj, you know him, Bibi Govind Maharaj. He came to the, like, he was first exposed to the Krishna consciousness. He asked one of the Mataji devotee, what is this so very nice, fluffy and so sweet? Actually, it is a halwa. So it is so nice. It is, what is the recipe? And he was trying to ask so that he can make it. So that Mataji told that, oh, everybody eat? No, they don't eat. They just eat by seeing. How come they eat by seeing? We eat by through mouth. How deities will eat by seeing? Oh, it is something astonishing for him. And the Mataji said that, you know, how this prasadam, this bhoga is transformed to nectar. Krishna's saliva put it on that. And he got so confused, bewildered. Somebody's saliva put it on halwa that we are eating. It is so shocking for them, for him, Bibi Govind Maharaj. And again, he understood. And because you may try, you may try number of recipes at your home. You just try without offering, you eat, you will know, what we are missing something. Though even though we make perfect recipe, perfect, say suppose perfect rice, dal or cake or cookies, with all ingredients, everything is perfect, without offering that. But even before coming Krishna consciousness, you must have all eaten, outside food. But even though you pay, when we get this Krishna consciousness moment, we will have that, because Lord eats that. But we cannot see that. Lord eats with his eyes. Angani yasha sakalendriya. So in Brahma Samhita, with his eyes, he can do anything with his eyes. He can create universes with his eyes. Mahavishnu sleeping on the casual ocean. Yeah, he just by glancing the material world, it forms, creation starts. Creation of the gopis, evolution of the Lord, and all the incarnations of the Lord. Then we are able to understand the pastimes, intense separations with the gopis and Lord Krishna. We can able to appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll take it as a mundane thing. It is a mundane affairs between the boy and girl. We really don't appreciate. And also, he chanted the name of Lord and he went back to Godhead. That cannot happen to anyone. He cannot be choose a role model, something like that. It was an extreme case. That's why he is in Bhagavatam. Nobody trying to imitate Ajamil. Liquor shop, but whereas who has a person who is a drug. There is a play called Kabaddi ball team, 5-5, and he knows some face you. Oh Prabhu, you sing very well. Oh Prabhu, you play very well Mridanga. Nobody in this temple. That means you are failure. You are giving such a nice, wonderful classes. It's all because of my Guru's mercy. He can think that. Otherwise,